What's up, everybody? Mr. Williams here, and I, on behalf of the senior class, am looking for somebody, a senior, who would be willing to be our school board representative. Now, this is quite an honor of a position. Let me read a few qualifications, and then you'll see if you might be interested in doing this. We need a senior who is comfortable with public speaking, number one. Someone who has a desire to celebrate RVS goals and events, somebody who's able to attend this in-person orientation, and there will be in-person meetings about once a month through the school year, and somebody who's able to deliver in-person presentations on RVS, right? Your job will be to represent our entire school at our school board meetings. So if that sounds like something you would want to do, which would look great on your resume, please, 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 please sign up using the link attached. All right, peace out.
Hello, RBS. My name is Ashley Mendoza, and I'm your ASB treasurer. And on today's episode of Trailblazer Tales, features legendary comic book writer Christopher Priest. When he was 10 years old, Mr. Priest started writing a superhero and sci-fi stories. With dreams of becoming an editor in 1978, he was hired to work at Marvel and work alongside creators such as Stan Lee. In 1984, he was promoted to editor, becoming the first African American in mainstream comics, and was put in charge of Spider-Man books. Mr. Priest went on to become the first African American writer in comics when his first Falcon limited series was published. Mr. Priest has been a major contributor to Marvel's Black Panther and has also worked on DC comics like Justice League, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Green Lantern. In this clip, you'll learn more about Mr. Priest and his trailblazing mission to bring real life and diverse characters into the superhero world. Enjoy.
What was your mission statement to yourself and sort of where you want to take the Panther?
Don't
and
screw
sort
it
of
up.
new-
That was my mission statement. Don't screw it up. I actually turned in. I had breakfast with Joe Quesada this morning, and we were reminiscing over this stuff. And I turned in the first issue of Black Panther, and they rejected it because it was too straight. It was too by the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe really had to kind of shake me out of formula because we became so accustomed to. This is a long time ago, but we had become so accustomed to a certain formula of doing superhero comics. And for better or for worse, because not everyone liked what we were doing, Joe wanted that Pulp Fiction in rewind storytelling style, and he wanted to take some chances and swing for the fences, and I'm glad that he did that.
Switching gears and companies, a character that you're indelibly linked with has had a really good year in 2018.
Really?
Yeah. Some guy, T'Challa, something. but in all seriousness, like your run on Black Panther is the definitive run on the book for a lot of people. And it really, especially for the modern version of Panther, what's it been like seeing that character rise to the prominence that he has with the crazy success of the film?
Well, back when the film was in development, I got a call from the executive producer. I got several calls. We had several discussions about the character. And I was talking to Nate Moore, one of the executives, and I expressed some concern. I said, look, Nate, I really have a concern here. And he said, what? I don't know if anybody's going to come see this movie. I mean, it's a movie about a black character. He's not a super powered individual. He's over this African nation. How are you going to get a white audience to come see this movie? And Nate laughed and said, they're going to come see it. See where that goes. Because everybody else was doing the big cosmic story. And I felt like, well, what could I contribute that is not just another shade of that particular color and do something completely different?
How do you approach bringing these characters to a more human level? Does that come easy to you to come up with these ideas and situations for them?
Well, I think I approach everything from that way, and it's probably a result of me just getting older. 20 years ago, Denny O'Neil told me. I asked him about well, why are you writing characters like Batman? And the question, why don't you want to write Spider-Man or Galactus or something? And he said something to the effect of, Jim, I just don't believe that anymore. It's hard to get into that mindset. it's not impossible for me to get into the mindset, but I'm much more intrigued by, I feel like the more reality we ground this stuff in, the more the fantastic elements will pop against the reality. So let's ground it in as much truth as possible. If there was a group of individuals with the powers of gods living on some satellite, in unclaimed airspace, that has weapons and transporters and that kind of stuff, that, in our society, the way it works here with the social media and with the highly politicized nature of our nation here, there would be hearing after hearing after hearing and investigation after investigation. The Twitterverse would be going nuts day and night. With the 24 news cycle, who are these people? Who licensed them to be up there? And who's regulate? Who watches the watchers? And then in any kind of group, it could be Cub Scouts. Any kind of group, it becomes a political organization. If you work in an office with 50 other people, then it's an environment that has personalities and so forth. And these personalities will sometimes come into conflict, even though you're working toward the same goal of whatever your company does or whatever your organization does. So I wanted to kind of look at the Justice League like a workplace drama, and kind of go, okay, let's examine, what these conflicts might be, how they play out, and then the flip side is why these people need each other and why the world needs a Justice League. And the last part of that is what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure I was telling stories that could only happen when this specific group of people assemble themselves. These are not stories that could happen to them individually. I think about by it.
What do you think you learned most from sort of the early days and the earlier work that you did that you apply now to your writing?
Oh man, that's a really good question. I'm not used to good questions like that.
That's my job. That's what I do.
Certainly what I learned is how to manage deadlines a little bit better, but I like to think that I'm a better writer now than I was then. We'll find out with work that comes subsequent to this. But, everything is a learning experience. The more you do something, the better you get at it.